Hello everyone, Simon here from the Wales of Wall Street, down by the coast today. Hopefully the audio is all good for you guys. Today's video is going to be Hedera hash graph, HBAR on the exchange, one of our other favourite projects here on the Wales of Wall Street, but also something that I just wanted to conclude as to why XDC and XRP etc. flying high at the moment, stabilising themselves at higher price points with their big news. But it gives me an opportunity to focus on some of the other assets that are now stabilising at the lower regions of their price points. We'll go into that in a bit more chart detail shortly. Before we go into the actual video, don't forget of course to smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and obviously welcome back if you've been with us for some time. Guys, HBAR, Hedera, some really interesting news has come out over the last few days, very much around stablecoins. Now, I do actually have a video coming out shortly in the next few days as a recap video from the Digital Pound Foundation event that I was at last Wednesday in London here in the United Kingdom, and the huge topic really around obviously regulation in general, but there's also a massive topic around stable coins versus crypto in general versus CBDCs. Where do stable coins etc. fit? What's their purpose? And clearly the frameworks are developing significantly across all of these different areas. We know this, but what's really interesting particularly here is one of the news articles we picked out literally I think 4 or 5 days ago now. Shinhan Bank, which is based in Korea, or South Korea in particular, has been conducting stablecoin trials on the Hedera DLT network, and this is absolutely fantastic to see. It's utilizing the public DLT as well. And it's been operating between themselves in Korea, but also Thailand as well, using that new Taiwan dollar and the Thai baht. I think it's called the baht, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Now, here's a bit of an intro here. Stablecoins offer a low cost, fast and reliable way to transfer value across borders, which can help to increase financial inclusion and improve access to the financial services for individuals and businesses. Now, we know worldwide there are 2 billion people who are unbankable. Now, whether that's through their own situation or the governments or the banks just simply don't want them to have them, but crypto in general, cryptography has allowed people to have easier access to this form of finance and money. However, there is a big tension right now in the space of banking worldwide, and particularly within regions and countries of themselves. The speed and acceleration at which frameworks and APIs are driving right now for everyone to start catching up. Here in the UK, of course, we mentioned in previous videos more recently about the UK's adaptation by introducing regulation and laws around stablecoins and digital currency usage, and also now trade finance, the utilization of digitalization of contracts, i.e. smart contracts as well. So stablecoins is going to be a huge topic alongside CBDCs over the coming years, and it's really good to see in some ways our projects that we cover, but also that we hold, and I'm sure there's many others, and we know there are many others, are really focusing on that stablecoin mechanism moving forward. Of course, big here, traditional aspects of EVM, the Ethereum, virtual machine. This is very much where chains and projects are utilizing the Ethereum network as an underlayer to build upon and create these systems, these frameworks for finance to use. But what's really interesting, of course, with Korea as a market in general, of course, this is absolutely huge. I think there's a good 56 million of people around in Korea. We can see even on here, just through Wikipedia, I know sometimes this isn't full information, but you can see here 51.3 million. So it's a huge market. And of course, it's similar in Thailand as well in terms of numbers and population. But in the grand scheme of things, guys, it's great to see these international transfers, testing, pilots, etc., both in CBDCs and stablecoins. But when we talk about the world scope of each of these countries needing to be talking to each other, being able to work with each other's frameworks and API systems, this is where it gets really interesting. Now, we know Hedera currently kind of boasts around up to 10,000 transactions per second. If we looked at sort of like Visa, the card sort of transfers and monetary systems that they have in place there, they can go to up to around sort of 2,000 transactions per second. So you can see that this is really interesting. Obviously, Hedera is one of the many chains and projects out there. Some boast more, and we know that transactions aren't just necessarily financial related. They can also go across the board of anything that is a transfer or an action. We've gone into loads of detail about that when we talked about direct cyclic graph, of which Hedera operates and utilizes as a technology. But this is huge, guys. It's a really massive opportunity for a huge market and area share of the world. And as I said, there's many chains and projects that do this, of course. But when we talk about those kind of numbers and the opportunities of transactions per second, and that's globally, we can start to speed that up quite significantly. The other point also to make is the speed at which remittance occurs. So usually, typically with cross-border payments or international payments, they can take anywhere sort of between 1 and 5 days. The technology and blockchain, guys, can make this happen in minutes, and especially with DAG kind of protocols, direct to cyclic graph. If you don't know what that is, I will leave a description of a video that we did a while back now, introducing and explaining DAG systems in more detail. It's quite fascinating. That's not just because I made the video, but it is a fascinating topic and utilization of technology. So if you can imagine that increase of capacity, the increase of speed, how fast the economy can grow even further, and utilize each other within interoperability, and the speed at which the economy and finance can grow worldwide. So to see Hedera is a big part of that in those particular markets. And this isn't really talking about CBDCs, guys. This is stable coins. It really does become apparent how we're developing so fast now, and certainly over the next few years it's going to be more interesting than ever before as we see utilization and integration of these systems moving forward. So I just thought I'd pick those bits of information out for you guys. As I said, Hedera, a huge project that we've been following a long time. I was a bit slow in accumulating this over the last year or so. However, I would say actually the last sort of 6-7 months have woken me a lot more to get more and more encouraged to accumulate Hedera in the positions possible at these potential lower regions that it currently sits at in the price point. As I said, we're going to the chart in a second, but pretty much to wrap that up, guys, up, that element of the information up, guys, we can see that Hedera, amongst many of the technologies and projects that we follow, are having significant implications into how we will utilize finance in the future. It's very exciting to see. So on that note, let's jump into the chart of Hedera and see where we are price point wise and where my positions are currently in terms of purchasing. I'm not selling yet. As you guys know, I'm a very long-term holder of majority of my projects. I will of course see maybe some potential short-term opportunities, but certainly not in the current regions that we're at now. At the moment, the price point floating around 5.3 cents. I think this is a really interesting area. Certainly, obviously, we took advantage of various areas this year so far. Back in January, hitting that sort of 3.5 cent mark. More recently, June saw us floating around the 4 cents. So you can see there is a progression market here going on over the last 6-7 months, as we have seen across the market with other assets as well. But with Hedera, this is a project that I'm trying to accumulate as much of as possible. I think for sure anything under 10 cents with Hedera HBAR is an absolute steal. You can see as well in the history data wise of Hedera's price points in the past, we have seen significant rises all the way up here, guys, if I can just move my mouse, to around that sort of 57-58 cent mark. So you can see there's plenty of room for traction, plenty of room for movement in this particular asset. As we know, we're in a winter and a bear market, but we are matching very similar prices that we did see around that sort of 2020 mark, literally around that sort of 4 to 6/7 cents. So when people say to me, when is a good time to buy Hedera, this is not financial advice, just my opinion obviously, I'm suggesting that this is kind of an area of interest right now. There's great DCA opportunities over the last few weeks and certainly in the months to come, in my opinion. And as you can see, we are slowly retracing back down to this 5 cent on the mark, on the nose area as well. Can it bring itself back down? Yes, that's why I've got buy orders back in still at 4.7 cents. And I still have orders at 3.7 and the lower regions of 4 cents as well. Just because I see that we're still in that bear market, the winter market, macro events still going on around the world. But that's the whole point of DCAing for me, is that you get the opportunities at various levels. And I am indeed looking at manual opportunities around that 5 cent mark when it does eventually come back down to there to test. we can identify that and clarify that a bit more with the RSIs on the bottom left hand side here, which indicate to us those variations of trading opportunities. I've got 14, 28 and 90 days on here. That gives a good reflection ideally on a short term and a slightly longer term positions as well. Me as a long-term holder, not too fast, but I am of course always looking out for the lower region price points as possible in the spectrum of HBAR as a price point. So for me at the moment, I'm just waiting for that manual trigger where I would probably see that 14-day coming down to around 48 to 45. That 28-day for me needs to come down to around at least 45 and 47 for me to do a manual position. However, the automatic ones might come in if we transfer ourselves down to lower than 5 cents and it does hit those 4.7 cents on its own. I've got those limit orders. That's kind of how I set it up. Performance wise on the indicators here on the right hand side, it's not massively amazing, and it's also not too bad either. I think it's in my opinion it's very level headed. That's why I quite like it as a stable position. Everyone's got focus at the moment on XDC, XRP, a few others that are moving very nicely. But as I said, it gives opportunity. Some people tend to pull out of assets and put them in. They try and chase money. But in general, also, as those get momentum, people are really focusing on those to obviously try and take profits. And they sometimes take their eye off the ball on some of the other assets that could be available as well. So for me, Hedera, the likes of Algorand, etc. are really important to keep an eye on all the time. And certainly, as I said, distractions occur and it tends to bring some of the price points down. Not significantly and massively, but enough to have those DCA opportunities like we see here with Hedera HBAR right now. So that's my thoughts and opinions on HBAR at the moment, guys. I thought I'd bring that bit of information to you. As I said, with the price moves as well, it is an opportunity to have a look at. If you're new to HBAR, it's something of interest to you, or you're looking to accumulate like I am, these positions are still around, guys. As I said, anything in my opinion under 10 cents is an absolute steal for your portfolio. And that is, as I said, not financial advice, just my opinion and thoughts. That's all I can really say about it at the moment, guys. Looking forward to doing an update video on Hedera in the coming weeks. We'll keep an eye on the price points as well. Anything significant, we'll do a YouTube short. But in particular, these bits of news do come in drips and drabs at the moment, especially in bear markets. But the important thing is the news recently and majority of these assets that we hold is very much around development and integration and utility. That is absolutely brilliant to see, whereas in bull markets, it's all about shilling and this, that and the other. This is a great opportunity, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next HBAR video very soon. Take care and bye-bye.